Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Now today is a special day because guess who's back?
Back again.
The rehearsals went far better than this. Anyway, today we are fixing our motor mover. Now you may remember about last year, sometime last year, Tom and I actually fixed our motor mover because one side stopped working. And if you recall, it was down to what we thought was the rubber boot disintegrating, muck getting on the terminals and basically fouling everything up and making everything a bit dirty. What we did is we replaced the rubber boot, cleaned all the terminals, and for pretty much all year it's worked absolutely flawlessly, except now the same thing's happened again. It's not working on one side. Now the symptoms are it's not working, and all I've done is I've jiggled the cable around and it burst back into life. So I've had a Google around and I've had a look online, and I have found that you can replace the brushes on these PowrTouch Classic motor movers. I'm going to show you today how we can replace the brushes on the motor mover. Now, a quick heads up, we've already done the side that was problematic and it has fixed it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing on the side which was already working to start with, and I'll show you exactly how easy and how straightforward it is to do. You buy the brushes in a pack of 2, so you buy one side for one motor mover. They cost 10 quid per side. You get 2 brushes, and the purpose of a brush is to transfer the electrical current from the cable to the rotational shaft on the motor. These parts are typically designed to wear out, and that's exactly what's happened here. They've worn out. So let me show you what we need to do in order to do the job. So I'll just show you, this is what the brush actually looks like. This is the one that actually failed as we took it out from the other side. So as you can see, you've got a terminal here that the wire goes onto. This goes into a nice little cavity inside the motor housing, and this is the actual brush itself. And this is made from a graphite carbon material, and it's designed to wear down over time. So anyway, let's go and replace these right now. So this is the motor mover itself. We've got all our control gear down here. Our roller is just here, and this piece here is the motor. So what you can see here, we've got a rubber boot which we need to take off. So the first thing we need to do is to remove that cable tie and pull the cables out very gently. When we pull them out, we're going to pull them out by the terminal, and so that we don't pull the cables away from the terminals itself, and we need to do that for both cables each side of the motor mover. We also need to make sure we pay special attention to what cable goes to what side of the mover. There we go. So this retaining clip slides forward towards the terminal. Now go really careful when you take this off, because the motor brush can actually spring out towards you. So just be mindful and take your time when taking it off. Now once the brush has been removed, you are left with an open cavity, and if your brush has been damaged or is cracked or is crumbling apart at all, it's a good idea to look down this cavity with a torch and just blow out any material which may be in there using compressed air. So this is the old motor brush. It's pretty grubby, the spring has compressed quite a bit, the terminal is really filthy, but the brush material itself looks perfectly fine. There's a slight groove in here where it's been rubbing against the motor, but other than that it looks pretty good. Let's compare that to a new one. Well, the difference is obvious. The terminal is nice and bright and shiny, the motor brush itself hasn't got any grooves and hasn't worn down at all, and the spring has got some nice stiffness to it. So let's go and refit that back in our motor mover now. So refitting is straightforward. Simply insert the motor brush back into the cavity and put the terminal towards the back of the brush. Now using the small clip that we removed beforehand, reinsert that and slide it back into position. Now before we reattach the rubber boot, we're just going to reconnect the cables, and we're just going to give the motor mover a quick test to make sure the motors are working. It's important to run the motor mover both forward and backwards to ensure that the motor brushes are connected properly. All that's left now is to refit the rubber boot and reattach the cable ties around the cables. Right, there we go guys, that is the motor mover brush replacement now complete. How easy did you find that?
Very easy. Didn't expect it to be that easy, to be honest.
Yeah, it wasn't that difficult at all. I did the other side a few days ago, and we've just done this side today. Really straightforward. Anybody can do it. It's designed for mere mortals like yourself and me to get underneath and replace those brushes. Now you may notice we got covers on our motor movers, which we didn't have beforehand. I put those on a few days ago, in fact, and it was a really straightforward job. Here's a quick recap on how I actually did that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go fit these covers on. Again, these were available from the PowrTouch website. I think I paid £30 something for a pair of these. They fit the classic motor movers. There are specific classic motor movers which they fit. Ours, I think, is a classic 2, so it does fit on there beautifully. I'll show you what you get in the kit, and then I'll show you how to fit them on. Okay, so this is what we get. We obviously get the cover, which is going to fit on in a moment. We get a indicator which goes on the spline shaft, a retaining bolt and a retaining clip. I'll show you how all this fits together, and then I'll show you exactly how we're going to fit it onto the motor mover in a moment. The very first thing we need to do is remove this black cover, and the easiest way to do that is just to use a screwdriver, block it like so, deform it and pull it off. So all I'm going to do is drop the bolt in here, and then we'll just go into making sure that we've got the wide end facing forward. Just going to wind it on a couple of turns like so. So that's now ready to fit on. So what's going to happen here, this block is going to fit inside the cavity that we've just exposed, and then this is going to poke through the hole. And it may need a bit of jiggery pokery, but take your time. It will fit it on there like so. Just make sure that all the flanges are in. If it looks a bit wonky like this, it probably needs just a gentle tap like so. And then what we do is we tighten this little fella up like so, and that's that now fitted in place. Right, now what we've got to do is fit this little indicator in place, and because the motor mover is off, we have the arrow pointing to the 0 to show it's not engaged. And I found the easiest way to fit this on is to lubricate the shaft with a WD-40, put the indicator on like so, and then using a 19mm socket, give it a very gentle tap tap tap, so you start it on its journey and then push it in by hand, and that's it, job done. There we go. Now we will pretend that we've just stood here for 36 seconds watching a VT on me putting covers on the motor movers, where in reality we've just stood here saying that we're pretending.
It's okay to pretend.
It's okay to pretend, yeah. And there we go, guys, that's it. That is our motor mover repair done for another year. No wonder what it'll be next year. Anyway, any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Product links are down below. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Ta-ra!
Bye!